Hello, so it is quite late, and normally I do my best videos quite late at night, so if I do sound a bit quiet, that means, well, you know why, because it's at night. So if I do sound a bit quiet, I'm sorry, but like I said, I normally do my best videos at night. So, I have just made the how-to video of buying second-hand trains, and I thought I would review one of the trains that was in there, which was the Bachmann Pannier tank. So, let's do some history on the Bachmann Pannier, well, the Pannier tank, not the Bachmann one. Okay, so it was designed by Collett in 1929. It was introduced in 1930 and had steam brakes and didn't have the ATC fittings, which is, I believe the ATC fittings is that little thing that lights up in the cab if it goes past a red signal or a signal at danger or amber, or however you want to call it. So these were purely meant for shunting duties. The locos were modified in 1933, except for 8700, and had an increased weight. And that's pretty much all you really need to know about this engine. So let's have I might as well give you some detail about 4672. So it is 4672 is its Great Western number as well. It is a 57XX or a 5700 or a 5700 or a 5700 class, whatever you want to call it. It was designed by Collett. It was built in 1944 at Swindon Works. In 1948 its shed was 84G, which was, I can never say it, Shrewsbury. There we go. So this, even in the 1960s, when this was probably, because it's the late crest, that would have been around that time. So even in the late 60s, come on, focus please. I don't know whether you can see that there on the shed code. I'm very shaky. It does say 84G, so even in the late crest era it was still at Shrewsbury, but the last shed it went to was 70B. It was withdrawn in 1963, so quite early, I guess you could say. It was cut up, and it normally says, the site that I go on is Rail UK, just if you want to know. And its disposal details was Ward's Brighton Ferry, so that might have been where it had been cut up, I don't know. And it was disposed in 1964, so it was only a year that it was really left in a scrapyard. So let's have a look at the model. So this is a second-hand model, so I wasn't expecting much for £30, which is how much I paid for it. However, it is in very good external trim for a second-hand model, and it runs very well. So we'll start at the front, and the smoke box door is it's not, I don't think it's separately fitted, but there is kind of a bit of a crack around it, so it does look like it should open, but it doesn't. It would be very nice if it could open, so I'll just zoom in a bit more so you can see all the little details. So you have got rivets down the side, and very iconic of a Pannier, you do have the extended tanks. The number on there does look quite bold, and normally they're quite thin numbers, and there's a bit of a smudge or paint chip on the floor. The funnel is moulded onto the body, I believe. You can always tell by looking down at the funnel to see if there's a screw. And I can't really seem to see the screw. Go on, focus back on camera. This might take a while. Oh no. There we go. The shed code, as normal, is printed on very crisply. Bachmann do seem to do those, the shed codes, quite well. You have rivets all underneath the smoke box door as well. You have the vacuum pipe that goes into the buffer beam, like most of the Great Western engines that I own, such as the 14XX and the 45XX. Actually, I think those are the only Great Western engines I own. It has sprung buffers. They are plastic, which I don't mind. Although I know that most people go on a rant about the buffers being plastic that Bachmann do, but I really don't mind, as long as they're sprung. It is a NEM coupling. You can remove it, but I'm not planning to, since it is a shunting engine and needs to pull stuff. You have the caps, or the lids for the tanks where they would put the water in. And you have the very iconic big Pannier dome. If you go back, you have the this would normally be made of brass that you see on the Hall classes, the King classes, pretty much most of the express or freight engines you see by the Great Western Railway. However, I don't know whether this was moulded in brass. It could have been and then painted black. I don't know, but that was where they'd keep all the safety valves. And then just behind that you have the whistles. Focus please. No, I do believe these are separately fitted. I'll have a look. No, they're moulded onto the whistle guards, I believe they're called. Well, it's called. Come on, focus. There we go. There is plastic, clear plastic as the windows. Then as you look in, I don't know whether that would be the brake or the regulator, but when I looked inside there I couldn't really see a lever for the regulator, so it could very possibly be the regulator. And you have C. Now I managed to watch a documentary on the 45XX, which is the Prairie, and this was normally meant for how much it could pull, so I believe C was about middle-ish, like it could pull quite a few coaches but not as many as say an express engine. And then the yellow bit around it was normally meant for where it was supposed to be, I think. I really can't remember. To be honest, I could be talking complete rubbish. I don't know. That's what I remember. The coal in the bunker looks quite realistic. It has got a bit of a shine on it, which you do normally see from coal. Now on camera it does look very realistic, but in real life it's okay. I mean, it's not top rated stuff. It doesn't look fantastic. Will do. You have the separately fitted hooks that go along at the back of the kind of bunker area, where they would put shovels, buckets, any kind of tool that they need for the locomotive. Now I did put the C-Class, the Bachmann C-Classes. If you've bought the C-Class, then you'll know that it comes with shovels and that kind of thing. And I did try and put them back there, but they just kind of kept leaning to one side and falling off. So I've removed them. And then you see they're moulded onto the back. Lamp hooks. It would have been nice if they were separately fitted, but oh well. You have a separately fitted hook for the couplings on front and back, and the sprung buffers are on front and back. The British rail symbol or emblem, once again, very crisply moulded on. You have got the little toolbox under there where they would keep tools, obviously, but it would just be very small stuff, so like maybe an oil can, which I did see at Tisley. One of them did get an oil can out and start oiling L94, which is the London Pannier tank. The wheels on this are very small, and it does make it look quite cute. You have got the brake bar, I believe this was. Yeah, because it is hooked up to the pads that would make the wheels brake. So like I said, these were steam brakes. Separately fitted handrails along there, each side of the tank. So I've given you pretty much overall detail and history about this tank engine. So we will see how it runs. Now I'm not going to have it running around just on its own. I will just couple it up to a train and make it go around. One, to see, so I can show you how strong this little engine is, even though it doesn't have traction tyres on. And the reason I'm not making it go around is because, well, it's not loud, but I don't want to wake anyone up. So yeah, see you in a minute. Just for keeping with the theme of Great Western here, I gave it a towed brake van, which was very common of Great Western. Well, it's pretty much an iconic Great Western brake van. I mean, most people, even if you don't know all that much about the Great Western Railway, you do know this was very much part of the Great Western Railway, even if it's just from Thomas the Tank. And speaking of Thomas the Tank, if you didn't know, the Pannier tank was the inspiration for Duck, and I believe Bachmann has just released the Bachmann Duck model. I mean, even if they'd have used this kind of basis and then painted it green, gave it a face, the moving eye mechanism, it would still be a pretty good representation of Duck. I mean, they just have to take off some of the details. So, I will show you how strong it is. I'll move back the trucks first, so you can get a nice zoom past of all of them. Just start off slowly. Triang, fish wagon, some Bachmann vent vans, the Bachmann Collectors Club private owner wagon, 2 private owner wagons, mineral trucks, a Triang Southern Rail truck, a Hornby troublesome truck, another Hornby troublesome truck, 2 ore wagons I believe they are, a broken Thomas the Tank truck, another private owner wagon, and a Thomas the Tank brake van. So as you can see, quite a lot there. Now, I always test my models out by making them pull all my wagons, and so far none of my trains have disappointed really. I mean, most of the trains that I've bought can pull all of this. As you can see, that one has it has charcoal in. It does look a bit like coal. It is just broken up charcoal though, and that has slate on from the Welsh quarry. However, the only train that has pretty much disappointed with pulling that is the standard 4MT over there, which doesn't run very well around my track, but that's just because my track is too tight curves for it. It's not that it can't pull it, it's just that it's unable to, with it struggling around the track. Okay, so without further ado, let's film the train with some sounds in the background.
the carpet and Pannier tent together for about 5 minutes, and then we'll bring her back and put her back on the turntable road. And then the plan anyway, is to bring the heavy and we could go back down to the slow paper.